Yo, what's good guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're reacting to a science video. It says, is civilization on the brink of collapse? Bro, you know I watch a lot of these videos and sometimes I think, yo, one day I'm gonna watch one of these videos and boom, something just, I don't know, something these videos are predicting is gonna happen. Cause bro, I swear every single time it's the same issue. And I had this class. They literally bring up the same questions these videos ask. So I'm like, yeah, I just answer the questions because I could do something about our world, I guess, but it won't contribute. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, yo, like Ajibu, you should keep doing it, keep our environment safe. Yeah, that's cool and all, but not like, of course I'm not gonna join like movements like, yo, save the world, this and this, but it's cool to take care of our world. So you guys should do that. But yeah, if you're new, don't forget to like and subscribe, and yeah, let's watch.
At its height, the Roman Empire was home to about 30% of the world's population, and in many ways, it was the pinnacle of human advancement. Its citizens enjoyed the benefits of central heating, concrete, double glazing, banking, international trade, and upward social mobility. Rome became the first city in history with 1 million inhabitants, and was a center of technological, legal, and economic progress. An empire impossible to topple, stable and rich and powerful. Until it wasn't anymore. First slowly, then suddenly, the most powerful civilization on Earth collapsed. By civilization, we mean a complex society where labor is specialized and social classes emerge, and which is ruled by institutions. Civilizations share a dominant mutual language and culture, and domesticate plants and animals to feed and sustain large cities, where they often construct impressive monuments. Civilization lets us become efficient on large scales, collect vast amounts of knowledge, and put human ingenuity and the natural resources of the world to work. Without civilization, most people would never have been born, which makes it a bit concerning that collapse is the rule, not the exception. Virtually all civilizations end, on average, after 340 years. Collapse is rarely nice for individuals. Their shared cultural identity is shattered as institutions lose the power to organize people. Knowledge is lost, living standards fall, violence increases, and often the population declines. The civilization either completely disappears, is absorbed by stronger neighbors, or something new emerges, sometimes with more primitive technology than before. If this is how it's...
Well, what neighbors do we have, aside from, theories about, oh, aliens, this and this? That's the only neighbor I could think that could... Because, bro, a civilization. I think ours is the strongest, bro. I mean, whatever comes next will probably be stronger, but I'm sure this is the strongest one ever so far.
What about us today?
But yeah, I'd be mad if some...
Just as Europeans forgot how to build indoor plumbing and make cement, will we lose our industrial technology? And with that, our greatest achievements, from $1 pizza to smartphones or laser eye surgery.
Pizza's not $1.
Will all this go away too?
Pizza's
Today, our cities stretch for thousands of square kilometers. We travel the skies. Our communication is instant. Industrial agriculture with engineered high-yield plants, efficient machinery, and high-potency fertilizer feeds billions of people. Modern medicine gives us the longest lifespan we've ever had, while industrial technology gives us an unprecedented level of comfort and abundance, even though we haven't yet learned to attain them without destroying our ecosphere. There are arguably still different civilizations around today that compete and coexist with each other, but together they also form a singular global civilization. But this modern globalized civilization is even more vulnerable in some ways than past empires, because we are much more deeply interconnected. A collapse of the industrialized world literally means that the majority of people alive today would perish, since without industrial agriculture, we would no longer be able to feed them. And there's an even greater risk. What if a collapse was so deeply destructive that we were unable to reindustrialize again? What if it ruined our
No. I think at this point where we are at, bro, we can still come back. Like, not easily, but logically, I mean, unless every smart person dies, then it'd take another thousands of years to come back. But let's say some Elon Musk dude is still some guy like him, or other, there's a bunch of smart people left on Earth. If those guys survive, bro, I don't even think we'd have to worry that much. Just gotta wait maybe 100 something years, and everything will be back, fine. It's crazy how time goes though, bro. Like, there's some buildings that were being built down across me, and then you see the whole building is full, and you're like, yo, it's only been like 2 years, the whole thing's full. So first of all, what would cause this, man? Like, aside from like storms wouldn't even do this much damage. I don't know what would cause this, but in case it happened, let's just hope it doesn't happen.
Chances of enjoying a flourishing future as a multi-planetary species.
Yeah, because it'd be boring.
A global
without,
civilizational
Netflix,
collapse
bro.
could be an existential catastrophe. Something that ruins not just the lives of everyone alive today, but all the future generations that could have come into being. All the knowledge we might have discovered, the art we might have created, the joys we might have experienced would be lost. How likely is all of this? Let's start with some good news.
Won't be lost like
While
that,
civilization collapses have happened regularly, none have ever derailed the course of global civilization. Rome collapsed, but the Aksumite Empire, or the Teotihuacans, and of course the Byzantine Empire, carried on. What about sudden population?
Oh yeah, bro, this video is kind of, I don't know, the way they're phrasing stuff kind of makes it seem like the whole world, like everything's just shattered, like acting like it's the end of the world, like everybody just loses their homes, like just everything gets shattered and ruined, and everybody is at step zero. They have no house, they're just outside. That's how I see this video. That's what they're trying to say, the whole world type stuff. Because if it's just like, let's say it just happens to the United States, that's lit. You'd see, Russia would definitely attack them, or China, and then they just take everything over. And then, now my citizenship, I'm Chinese. So I'd be like, yo, I'm Chinese. Yeah, but a chance of this happening, really? Like, if I'm being honest, I don't see this happening. I don't see how. Like, I just want to know how this would happen. Unless, nuclear war, probably that could make it happen. What else? War is the one big thing. Aside from war, I don't know.
So far, we've not seen a catastrophe that has killed much more than 10% of the global population. No pandemic, no natural disaster, no war. The last clear example of a rapid global population decrease was the Black Death, a pandemic of the bubonic plague in the 14th century that spread across the Middle East and Europe and killed a third of all Europeans and about 1/10 of the global population. If any event was going to cause the collapse of civilization, that should have been it. But even the Black Death demonstrates humanity's resilience more than its fragility. While the old societies were massively disrupted in the short term, the intense loss of human lives and suffering did little to negatively impact European economic and technological development in the long run. Population size recovered within 2 centuries, and just 2 centuries later, the Industrial Revolution began.
They're not going anywhere.
History is full of incredible recoveries from horrible tragedies. Take the atomic bombing of Hiroshima during World War II. 140,000 people were killed, and 90% of the city was at least partially incinerated or reduced to rubble. But against all odds, they made a remarkable recovery. Hiroshima's population recovered within a decade, And today, it's a thriving city of...
Yeah, it's thriving, but I read this article. They said there's still effects from that nuclear bomb that they threw back the 19-somethings. So, yeah, that's something I don't want to see. I don't care if it recovers, bro. 140,000 people, that's a lot. I don't want to go out to a bomb just because my country's not going to give up a war. Giving up is so easy, bro. In this case, Japan should have just, if they knew, unless they didn't know US had nuclear bombs, or maybe they downplayed how effective they'd be.
1.2 million people. None of this made these horrible events any less horrible for those who lived through them. But for us as a species, these signs of resilience are good news. Why recovery is likely even in the worst case. One thing that's different from historic collapses is that humanity now has unprecedented destructive power. Today's nuclear arsenals are so powerful that all-out global war could cause a nuclear winter and billions of deaths. Our knowledge of our own biology and how to manipulate it is getting so advanced that it's becoming possible to engineer viruses as contagious as the coronavirus and as deadly as Ebola.
Yeah, bro, I heard
increasingly, the risk of global pandemics is much higher than in the past. So we may cause a collapse ourselves, and it might be much worse than the things nature has thrown at us so far. But if, say, 99% of the population died, would global civilization collapse forever? Could we recover from such a tragedy?
Yeah,
we have some reasons to be optimistic. Let's start with food. There are 1 billion agricultural workers today, so even if the global population fell to just 80 million, it's virtually guaranteed that many survivors would know how to produce food. And we don't need to start at square one, because we could still use modern high-yield crops. Maize is 10 times bigger than its wild ancestor. Ancient tomatoes were the size of today's peas. After agriculture, the next step towards recovery would be rebuilding industrial capacity like power grids and automated manufacturing. A huge problem is that our economies of scale make it impossible to just pick up where we left off. Many of our high-tech industries are only functional because of huge demand and intensely interconnected supply chains across different continents. Even if our infrastructure were left unharmed, we would make huge steps backwards technologically. But then again, we are thinking in larger time frames. Industrialization originally happened 12,000 years after the agricultural revolution. So if we need to start over after a massive collapse, it shouldn't be that hard to reindustrialize, at least on evolutionary timescales. There's a hitch though. The Industrial Revolution was fueled literally by burning easily accessible coal, and we are still very much reliant on it. If we use it all up today, aside from making rapid climate change much worse, we could hinder our ability to recover from a huge crisis. So we should stop using easy-to-access coal, so it can serve as a civilization insurance in case something bad happens. Another thing that makes recovery likely is that we probably have most of the information we need to rebuild civilization. We would certainly lose a lot of crucial institutional knowledge, especially on hard drives that nobody could read or operate anymore. But a lot of the technological, scientific, and cultural knowledge stored in the...
Yeah, you know, like, this isn't a bad idea, to be honest. Like, restarting... But yeah, bro, I'm lazy, so I probably don't want to restart, because, yeah, it's boring. Like, you're going to have to start like a cave guy or caveman again. You're starting over, building, blah, blah, blah. See, like, you know... Thank you to the ancestors, bro. I'm glad I was born in this generation, to be honest. I like technology, bro. Movies, bro. Everything is here. Who wants to lose all this stuff again? I know anybody who says, yeah, I want to lose all this and go back to no cars, just walking off on foot. Yeah, you're a hypocrite. You're lying. No one wants to lose all this. Not even in third world countries. They still have some stuff, a lot of stuff they don't want to lose. Modern times, they have goods and bads, but I love this, most of this. So, yeah, well, if the world ever goes down, it goes down. I'll have had my fun, I guess. But
Whilst 2.6 million libraries would survive the catastrophe. The post-collapse survivors would know what used to be possible, and they could reverse engineer some of the tools and machines they'd find.
Bro,
In conclusion, despite the bleak
too,
prospect of catastrophic
happens.
threats,
Me
natural
too.
or created by ourselves, there is reason for optimism. Humankind is remarkably resilient, and even in the case of a global civilizational collapse, it seems likely that we would be able to recover, even if many people were to perish or suffer immense hardship, even if we lost cultural and technological achievements in the process. But given the stakes, the risks are still unnervingly high. Nuclear war and dangerous pandemics threaten the amazing global civilization we have built. Humanity is like a teenager, speeding around blind corners, drunk without a seatbelt. The good news is that it's still early enough to prepare for and to mitigate these risks. We just need to actually do it. Did we manage to unlock a new fear for you? Let's
Bro, honestly, is the video
counter
over?
existential dread with appreciation for humanity.
Okay, I think the video's over. But yeah, bro, I am chilling. I'm not worried that much about, well, I guess a little worried about this nuclear war stuff and maybe another pandemic with that monkeypox. Yeah, stuff like that. But yeah, aside from that, I'm chilling. I'm just waiting for what's next. I guess being a human, I guess enjoying that. But yeah, hopefully that stuff doesn't happen. It's scary to watch sometimes. But yeah, if you made it this far, thank you and have a nice day.